News Center 10 at 6. With Dale Schornak and Diane Ryan. Jim Schnebelt with weather. J.D. Hayworth sports. And the team from News Center 10.
Good evening. Phoenix police shot a man who barricaded himself in his home early this afternoon.
Linda Williams is at the scene where the confrontation and the gunshots occurred. Linda, what is the man's condition?
Well, the man is now listed in critical condition at St. Joe's Hospital. Police were called here by the suspect's wife a little before 2 o'clock this afternoon. She said her husband, Charlie Johnson, was distraught because she had decided to leave him. And she said she called police after hearing gunshots inside the house this afternoon. Authorities say the standoff between police and Johnson went on for about 1.5 hours before Johnson, the suspect, came out of the house with a semi-automatic gun and approached an officer. Charlie Johnson was...
The policeman begged him not to run. He said, "Please don't run. We're here to help you." And the guy turned around and came at him with his gun. And the policeman fired at him. The closer he got, he fired another shot. The closer he got, he fired another shot. So the policeman was in his rights, because the guy just kept coming at him until he fell.
Yes, officers asked him many, many times and tried to talk him into putting the weapon down, to stopping, and his response was that they were going to have to take him.
Once again, Johnson was taken to nearby St. Joseph's Hospital. He is in surgery now, and Dale and Diane, he is in critical condition. We will be updating you on this story tonight at 10 o'clock.
It was a dramatic confrontation. Linda, thank you. State immigration officials are bracing for long lines as the amnesty deadline for aliens approaches. Although today is Sunday, it was business as usual at the 7th Street Immigration Office.
Alfonso Duran tells us officials are working overtime to process as many applicants as possible before that Wednesday deadline. Alpha?
Well, Diane, so far, close to 2 million people have taken advantage of the amnesty law, which was enacted about 1.5 years ago. Now, Arizona has about 50,000 amnesty applicants right now, and most of them were processed at the immigration office on South 7th Street.
It is a lot of red tape and even more waiting. But to Jorge and Dolores Gonzalez, it's all worth it. The Gonzalezes have been busy getting their documentation together for the last 3 months. And with 6 children, it isn't easy.
Es una de las razones que no nos queremos separar de la familia. Si en dado caso de un problema, no queremos que unos hijos estén aquí, otros estén allá.
Jorge says he and his wife owe it to their children to make sure they have everything in order. 4 of our children, he says, were born here in the United States. We can't take the chance of being separated. Close to 1,000 people came here yesterday to apply for amnesty. It wasn't quite as busy today, probably because no one expected a federal office to be open on a Sunday.
We're trying to give everybody everyone who's eligible an opportunity to file. We're going to keep the office open just as long as we possibly can to accommodate everyone.
That means extended office hours. INS usually closes this office at 5:30, but for the next 3 days, if there are people waiting, they'll stay open. INS workers also plan to process applicants right up to the Wednesday midnight deadline.
What do you expect it to be like Wednesday?
I expect utter chaos Wednesday.
Well, some members of Congress wanted to extend the amnesty deadline until November. However, that doesn't look very promising tonight. A bill to extend that deadline has passed the House, but it is now stalled in the Senate.
Thanks, Alpha. It took nearly 90 firefighters to put out an overnight brush fire in north central Phoenix. It started on Moon Mountain shortly after 10 o'clock last night. It destroyed about 300 acres, which is practically the entire north side of that mountain before it was put out. Fortunately, the fire didn't spread into any nearby homes. Phoenix fire officials say the blaze may have been started by juveniles.
The Tucson couple is continuing a vacation as usual. They were 2 of the few people who were not injured when an Aloha Airlines jet lost part of its fuselage in flight last Thursday. The son of Daryl and Arlo Klippinger of Tucson says they were uninjured.
They were all right, and they told me where they were sitting. They were sitting behind the, just behind the wing section of the plane, and that they had gotten a lot of debris in their face when the top came off.
Were they hurt at all?
No, they came out without a scratch.
When the fuselage ripped apart, 1 flight attendant was believed killed, and 60 others on the plane were injured.
And still to come, a trip to Arizona's high country to a place winter doesn't want to leave.
Plus, Valley mayors don aprons and hats for Cinco de Mayo's annual cook-off contest. We'll find out who was the best chef coming up.
Somehow there's got to be a cure for athlete's foot.
Hey, step up to the mic.
Mike.
Mycotin. This cures athlete's foot. It's got something the others don't. Myconazole. There's nothing more powerful.
Yes? You got something that cures athlete's foot? Sure, step up to the mic.
Huh?
Mycotin. It cures athlete's foot.
Step up to the cure. Step up to the mic. Mycotin, also in deodorant spray.
You know the new chicken fajita pita at Jack in the Box? It was my idea. Really. When they first came out with the fajita pita, I told those guys, do it with chicken. Do it with chicken. I must have told them 1,000,000 times, do it with chicken. Next thing I knew, they were doing it with chicken.
The new chicken fajita pita at Jack in the Box restaurants. Grilled white meat chicken, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes in a pita. For serious fajita eaters.
Great idea, guys.
Season after season, year after year, a Tradewinds evaporative cooler will cool your home without rusting. Tradewinds, the one to trust not to rust. See your dealer today.
Patient, a typical used car buyer. Symptoms, acute fear of the unknown. Treatment, rush him to his Hyundai dealer during Come to Your Senses days. Revive him with a reliable new XL that actually costs less than the average used car. XL start at just $53.95. Prognosis, with values this good, there's never been a better time to buy a car that makes sense.
Hurry into your Greater Phoenix Hyundai dealer. Come to Your Sense days ends May 2nd.
Water from around the state was put to the test today. The test for taste. It was all part of the Best Tasting Water Contest at Tempe's Papago Water Treatment Plant. The contest marks the beginning of National Drinking Water Week. 6 discriminating drinkers, including Governor Rose Mofford, put their taste buds to the test. Now, besides taste, the water was tested for clarity. And according to the judges, the winner was clear. Chandler folks will be proud to hear that they have the best tasting water in the state. And this was an important day for Arizona nurses. Governor Mofford used today's 8th annual In Pursuit of Excellence event to proclaim National Nurses Week. The Phoenix Memorial Hospital program recognizes Arizona's top graduating registered nurses.
Politics was probably the last thing on the minds of 8 Arizona mayors today. Instead, they put all their efforts in creating a culinary masterpiece at the Cinco de Mayo celebration in Phoenix. Spectators had a chance to cast their vote for the best-tasting chili, salsa, and other Mexican delights. After an endless number of taste tests, the votes came in. El Mirage Mayor Rosario Venezuela walked away with first place.
Good for her.
Coming up in sports, the NBA playoffs heat up.
And next, in weather, are we in for more cooler temperatures this week? We'll find out from Jim Schnebelt.
There may have been some wind-blown tostadas at the Cinco de Mayo Festival. We'll tell you all about the forecast coming up next. Stay with us.
Jim Schnebelt's weathercasting is approved by the American Meteorological Society. You're watching News Center 10 on KTSP TV.
This weekend, see Ocotillo, Price Road at Queen Creek. Water, water everywhere.
Introducing Hot Country Stuffers. Country Stuffers.
The country's calling you. Country Kitchen.
Hi, Henry Brown here for Brown & Brown Chevrolet in Mesa. If you're looking to buy a new car, truck, or van, now is the perfect time during our 10th annual Western Day sale. For example, this S10 extended cab pickup for only $7.40 a day. Or own this brand new Corsica with no money down and get $500 cash rebate from Chevrolet. Plus, guess the weight of this steer, and if your guess is correct, we'll pay you his weight in cash. Brown & Brown Chevrolet in Mesa. Are we done yet?
Good job, Henry.
This typewriter and I have been through a lot of deadlines together. Kind of shows, too. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's kind of like my Yellow Pages, U.S. West Direct. I've got some other directories around here, but none of them have as much information as this book right here. You can tell by my doodling. It's the one that I used. I couldn't write a better book myself.
U.S. West Direct, the one that gets used.
Well, if it felt cooler today, that's because it was 22 degrees cooler than yesterday.
22 degrees cooler than yesterday, 17 degrees below normal today.
Good.
That's fairly pleasant for this time of year. We barely made it into the 70s here today, folks. 71 degrees officially, the afternoon high at Sky Harbor Airport. The morning low, 56. Normals for this date, 88 and 57. Record, 103. We missed that by 32 degrees. That was from 1985. And the record low, 42 from 1915. Right now, 69 degrees at the airport. Wind is out of the northwest, gusting up to 17 miles per hour. Humidity, 17%. The dew point, 21. Rainfall for the year, 2.39 inches, only a hundredth of an inch below normal for this time of year. And the barometer at 29.92 and rising. The air quality numbers, well, carbon monoxide just about as low as it can go today at 8. That's in the good range. And ozone just barely up into the moderate range at 52. And temperatures across the state today looked like this. These are the highs. 39 degrees for a high today in Flagstaff. This is the month of May. Prescott 48, Payson 53, 78 at Yuma for the warm spot, tied with Douglas for the warm spot, and everybody else somewhere in between. We do have some clouds up north tonight across the northern half of the state, and you can see clear skies across the southern half. Things clear out to the west of us, so lots of sunshine in our forecast. The cold front moved through here last night, being followed by some windy and much cooler weather statewide, and this cold front's moving off to the east tonight. And as a result, we're going to see this warming ridge now develop over the western United States, and this ridge is going to move over Arizona the next couple of days, warm us up into the 80s and probably even the low 90s by midweek. Back east, fairly quiet today. Storm system off the coast of the Atlantic, some heavy thunderstorms down in the Florida Keys, 2 to 3 inches of rain, and high pressure across the eastern half of the country. This low moving through the Rockies, though, is causing some heavy snow in parts of Wyoming and Colorado. In fact, the east entrance to Yellowstone National Park had to be closed today because of the heavy snow up there, and some power outages in Jackson, Wyoming, also from the heavy snow. You can see also heavy thunderstorms in parts of Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas. Severe thunderstorm watch and tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. And here are the heavy thunderstorms down in Florida. We also have some rain and snow showers in Arizona. It's very light, though, and confined to the high country. Just a trace of snow in Flagstaff today, and also a little bit up on the Mogollon Rim. Temperatures were warm back east today, 70s all the way up into Minnesota. The coolest in the northern plains in behind that snowstorm, 36 in Casper today. McAllen, the hot spot. Truckee, California, got down to 10 degrees this morning for the cold spot. Around our state tonight, temperatures are going to look like this, well below freezing in the high country tonight. Tomorrow we're going to warm up a little bit, though. The winds will be dying down, and the warming trend's going to carry right on through Wednesday up into the low 90s, and then we'll taper off into the upper 80s, and looks like we'll hold out there through Friday. In the meantime, tonight, less wind and much cooler than last night, down to 52 at the airport. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a little bit breezy still, the high near 80, and then Tuesday, still sunny and much warmer, up to 88 on Tuesday. The winds will be calming down a little bit tonight, picking up again tomorrow, but really not too bad.
That was a nice break from the heat, but it sounds like we're kind of working our way back up there now.
Well, it's that time of year.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim.
No one was lucky enough to nab the jackpot in last night's pick drawing. Lottery officials say because the $2.3 million prize will go unclaimed, it will just roll over into a brand new second pick game, which starts Wednesday night. Lottery officials say starting today, you can buy tickets for the Wednesday night drawing where you currently can buy tickets. Lottery tickets are now sold.
Coming up in sports, the ASU Sun Devils take on UCLA at Packard Stadium.
And the NBA playoffs are getting hotter.
Yeah, and you know, two guys are hot. Michael Jackson is one, but Michael Jordan of the NBA is another, and both those gents are B-A-D bad. Back with the highlights of Mr. Jordan and the Bulls coming up.
Every neighborhood has its own unique flavor and charm, but there's one thing they all have in common. One place in the neighborhood where you always get the lowest prices overall and the quality you need. That place is Lucky. And with the most recent Dare to Compare price survey, we've proved it again. Maybe it's time you compared for yourself, because no matter where you live, the proof is as close as your neighborhood Lucky.
Right now, Domino's Pizza is dealing. And here's the deal. You can get 2 regular pizzas for $8.88. And Domino's Pizza delivers in less than 30 minutes. So discard this joker and be a winner. Get 2 regular pizzas for $8.88. But don't miss out. This deal ends soon. Call Domino's Pizza now.
Call now about the Domino's Pizza Special. Get 2 12-inch cheese pizzas for only $8.88. Simply mention the Domino's Pizza Special when ordering.
Wherever you are, trust the Texaco star up ahead. It's there shining bright. It's the sign that stands for the best for your car. It's there standing by day and night. Up ahead, there's Texaco, star of the American road. Texaco.
Quality. That's what everyone is looking for. A car or truck that really lasts. That's why there are more Chevys still on America's roads than any other make. And why every 1988 Chevrolet is backed by a 660 warranty. Because at Chevrolet, quality is more than a word. It's a way of life. For us and for you.
I got it! The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Well, I guess we find out, what, in the next few days, who's going to be coaching the Suns next season?
And we're watching and waiting. In fact, we've got it penciled in on our calendar upstairs. Keeping an eye on the Suns coaching situation. Of course, that tops our list of things to do this week on the News Center 10 sports calendar. Actually, this story takes on soap opera-like dimensions. Will John Wetzel walk away of his own volition? Will Jerry Colangelo issue a belated vote of confidence in his head coach? Or will Jerry pink-slip John publicly? Stay tuned for that continuing saga of the Suns. Right now, let's tune in the Cavs and Bulls this afternoon in the playoffs. Ex-Sun Larry Nance with a powerful rebound fights around underneath for 2 and an early 7-point lead for Cleveland, but the Bulls come back. Check out Charles Oakley hustling to save the ball. Down court to Michael Jordan alone. You know what that means. Double clutch super stuff. Ball game tied at 55. That's what Mr. J finished with. 55 points. He hits one there as the Bulls win it 106-101. Now the Celtics and Knicks from Boston Garden. Check out Gerald Wilkins here intercepting the pass for New York. He drives the length of the court, slams it home, but the Celtics lead by 13. Larry Bird, turnaround jumper. Count on this guy to score early and often. Celtics lead by 18. Rick Pitino gets thrown out of the game, doesn't do anything for his team. Go to the scoreboard, show you the final. Boston takes it by 26. Also, Seattle passed Denver in the 4th. It is Atlanta leading Milwaukee by a bucket. San Antonio and the Lakers get underway at 7:30. Let's begin our look at baseball with Arizona State against UCLA from Packard Stadium, where the Sun Devils packed 8 runs into the opening frame. Bottom of the first, that's when we pick it up. Dan Rumsey hits one to deep left center, and it brings home 2 runs, and Kevin Higgins and Steve Willis. It's 3-0 ASU. Later on in the same inning, Ricky Candelaria gets a hold of this one. I mean, he gets a hold of it so well, it just leaves the park. A grand slam, 7-0, and ASU goes on to win big. Check out the final there, 21-7 over the Bruins. Not such good luck for the Wildcats. U of A falls to Cal this afternoon, 7-4. Now the National League. Yesterday, the Reds fans saw red at Riverfront. They threw objects at umpire Dave Pallone after Pete Rose shoved that ump following a controversial call in a close game with the Mets, a game New York won on that call. But this afternoon, Cincinnati must have psyched itself up or out instead of psyching itself up. Those things get me confused. They weren't psyched up. I'll tell you why. Mercy, top of the 5th. Tim Tuffle starts it off with a 2-run homer. Then the next guy who steps up for the Mets is Keith Hernandez. This one is dispatched to the elements as well. And then we save that magic word for the next home run. The next hitter, Darryl Strawberry. What is it? It's vapor. I mean, up to the upper deck. 3 successive home runs by the Mets. Go to the scoreboard and show you the final. 11-0. New York beats Cincinnati. 4-2. Padres fall to the Pirates. Took 14 for the Expos to defeat Houston 9-0. St. Louis shuts out the Dodgers 7-6. Giants over the Cubs. And 9-5, the Braves beat the Phillies. Rangers and Yankees this afternoon from the house that Ruth built. Here is Mike Stanley for Texas. And there it goes. And we tell you the Rangers beat the Yankees 5-1 this afternoon. Onto the AL board. White Sox, boy, Baltimore back to losing after that one-win Friday night. 7-3 the final there. Twins shut out the Red Sox. A's over the Tribe 8-4, I should say. Tigers beat Seattle. Toronto beats the Angels, and the Brewers beat the Royals 10-6. Almost about to have confusion on nicknames again. Pacific Coast League baseball tonight at Phoenix Muni. The Firebirds host Tacoma at 7 o'clock. Now let's go to golf, and a strange finish at the Independent Insurance Open, as in Curtis Strange. Here he is on 18. He hit a shot like this one yesterday, except today it had added significance as he was on a line to overtake Greg Norman. Look at this. Oh, mercy, what an approach shot. And, of course, he comes up, and just according to script, he nails the birdie putt with Mr. Norman looking on. So they're tied. They go to sudden death. Third playoff hole of sudden death. Here is Strange for the birdie putt that gives him the win over Greg Norman. Legends of golf, check out this shot by Tommy Aaron today on number 16. Fasten your seat belts. This rolls in for an eagle. Aaron and David Graham led at this point, but the guy who catches him, Orville Moody, this birdie putt, he sends it to sudden death. Orville Moody and Bruce Crampton end up winning the Legends of Golf. Patty Rizzo won the LPGA Sara Lee Classic. That prize money should buy her a lot of coffee cake. Well, now let's reach out and touch some tennis highlights from the AT&T Challenge. This begins to sound like a commercial. Edberg, Stefan Edberg against Yvonne Lindell. Match point. It's Edberg in the near court, Lindell in the far. Edberg makes Lindell work for the point, but gives it to him when he blows the drop shot coming up right here. So Lindell wins it 2-6, 6-1, 6-3. USTA Clay Court Tennis Championships down in South Carolina. Andres Agassi in the near court, Jimmy Arias in the far court, ping-pong-orama. This point taken by Agassi, who's wearing what looked to be bleached-out jeans, that Tom Sawyer motif. But Agassi would end up winning it there as Arias double faulted. And as I get the wind-up right here, I guess that means we're out of time. Lots more to come at 10 p.m.
I know. A few stories left over for 10 o'clock.
We have some things left over. They're not going to spoil, folks. Stock car racing and women's marathon, we'll have it at 10.
It'll be just as fresh.
Something
I'm
to stay
sure.
tuned for. Still to come, a trip on the Arizona road to a place where you can still find winter.
It's one of our state's most scenic sights, and we'll take you there next.
You could look at one of those flatland communities.
So, your home site would be here, looking down on the rec center.
Looking down?
How's that?
It's all sort of flat.
Oh, now it is, but we're going to build knolls over here and a berm.
No hills?
Hey, have I showed you the lawn bowling? Woo!
No mountains?
Well, not in the first phase.
Or you could come to Red Mountain Ranch. The difference is monumental. Bush Highway Mesa.
White collar, white tie, white lie, white wine, white cap, white house, white hunter, white heat, white linen, the crisp, refreshing fragrance from Estee Lauder.
You know how to wear it.
Now at all Goldwater's Cosmetics.
If these 11 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines to San Diego, maybe this one will. Southwest Airlines to San Diego. It's like having your own company plane.
People from all over the world come to Texas.
Bonjour, partner.
To see the majesty of Big Bend.
Konnichiwa, cowboy.
Or to sun on over 600 miles of Texas beaches.
Buongiorno, Texas.
To sample our cuisines.
G'day, neighbor.
Or just to have a good time.
Guten Tag, cowboy.
Now, if the whole world is coming to Texas, imagine how easy it'd be for someone who speaks the language. Hey, y'all. Head for Texas. It's like a whole other country.
Coming up on News Center 10 p.m., we'll have more on a Phoenix shootout. Police shot a suspect who reportedly fired a gun at his wife. We'll talk with the wife at 10 o'clock. Also at 10, we begin my special assignment, 1968, a look back. It was an eventful time. Flower children, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Vietnam. We'll review some of the memories which may never be forgotten. And did you know the state's pick lottery game is changing? We'll have those stories and sports at 10 o'clock.
Well, summer is almost upon us here in the valley, but winter still lingers up in the high country. One of the West's most isolated places when the deep snow falls is at the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Bill Everton traveled the Arizona road to this still wintry spot, a place where it might be kind of romantic to be snowed in. And again, maybe not.
There is a winter place in Arizona where the snows come early, lie deep, and stay late, and you have to be a hardy soul to visit. It is the north rim of the Grand Canyon. As most of the state starts to move into summer and warm weather, the north rim of the Grand Canyon is just now beginning to realize there even is a summer. Although photographer Gilbert Zermaniou and I were here in January, snow is still melting in one of Arizona's remotest places. A look at that place in this report, a last touch of winter, memories for the warm summer ahead. The Park Service brought us in by snowmobile. The general public, however, can't come in this way. The only way to come to the North Rim in the winter is to snowshoe or ski in. It's 45 miles from Jacob Lake to the rim, and you'd better be in excellent shape and know how to take care of yourself. There won't be anybody to help. Tom Cox's winter is spent on patrol, maintaining facilities, just keeping his eye on things. Now, Tom Cox has a job that takes him where almost nobody else in the world can go. A special place, a special beauty. But the wind moaning through the trees is the only sound you can hear in an awesome world of silence. Wind whispering about loneliness and isolation.
Well, it gives you a chance to kind of step back from what a lot of other people are doing that's moving awful fast in today's society, and in a lot of isolated situations you can kind of remove yourself from that and maybe give you a little bit more introspective look at your own self and maybe what other people are doing with their lives. And that's sort of a rare opportunity in this day and age where it seems like society's on a real high speed plane most of the time.
In our next report, some of the other people who spend their winters here and how they deal with life on the North Rim. Tom's wife, Lee, and maintenance man, Jim Cunningham. This is Bill Everton, News Center 10, on the Arizona Road.
Boy, it is beautiful.
Sure is.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
We'll see you again at 10. Take care.